After countless hours of building in Hytale, we've gathered 10 essential building tips that not only helped us master building, but also massively boosted our base efficiency. And I'm sure these tips will help you go from this to this. This video is sponsored by Portal. Hello everyone, I'm Arati, and let's dive right into this video. You've probably noticed that workbenches can pull items directly from nearby chests for crafting. But before you start building your base, there's something important you need to know. There is a range limit to this function. Horizontally, the range is 14 blocks from each side of the workstation. Vertically, it's 6 blocks. This applies to every workstation in the game. If a workstation is 2 blocks wide or 2 blocks tall, the range starts from the closest point of the workstation. Visually, this range forms a box-shaped area extending from the furthest access points, as you can see here. Knowing this allows you to make sure every workstation always has access to the required chests. Now that we know that all workstations share the same access range, it often makes sense to create a central storage room and build your work area around it. This guarantees chest access for all stations and also makes organizing and storing loot much easier when everything is in one place. It also allows you to efficiently expand by placing multiple areas or buildings around this central storage hub. A different example: when playing with friends, each player can build their own house around a shared storage building too. Speaking of friends, we struggled to set up our own dedicated server, so we rented one from Portal. And if you're in the same boat, we definitely recommend you to check out their service. They provide a clear overview of which server options work best depending on your player count. Then, after purchasing, we were able to fully configure our server through their amazing dashboard. Everything is clean, organized, and easy to understand. You can even split your purchased RAM across multiple servers, in case you need one for your community, one for challenges or tournaments, and a personal server for your shenanigans. Rent the Portal server now and get 10% off your first purchase using our dedicated link in the description. Huge thanks to Portal for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the tips. When it comes to building, we strongly recommend making your walls at least 4 blocks high, and here's why. So, visually, it gives you much more freedom to create different shapes and patterns, instantly making your builds look better. Functionally, if your storage is placed on a middle floor, this height allows you to add a floor above and below while still keeping chest access for all workstations. It also gives you enough room to experiment with the ceiling without interfering with the floor above. Next up, there's nothing wrong with building simple square houses, but here's an easy way to add interesting shapes without overthinking it. Let's take our kitchen as an example. First, decide what you want to place inside. Maybe a decorative kitchen corner, the necessary workbenches, and perhaps a table with chairs. What we like to do is build these elements separately first to get a feel for their size. Then we remove parts of the kitchen wall, place a decoration inside, and rebuild the wall around it. Though, if possible, avoid matching the exact wall height of the main room. This creates a more immersive look. Just don't overdo it, or it might break the overall shape of the building. Now, even with additional shapes, our house still looks very flat. To fix this, we need to add depth by using different materials and offsetting blocks. The easiest method is adding pillar-like structures in each corner using a different material. Next is replacing some blocks with similar items, so to say. What we mean by items is that you don't have to use full blocks. Walls and slabs work perfectly fine too, and add some more variation. An even better approach is offsetting your pillar structures by 1 block. This requires more effort, but the added depth and detail are absolutely worth it. You may have noticed that placing certain items, like slabs, can be frustrating when they don't snap the way you want. The solution now is simple. Just press your Alt key. This will show you a hologram preview of how the item will be placed. By rotating it, you can precisely position blocks exactly as intended. This works not only for slabs, but also for roofs, stairs, fences, and more. Wait, did someone say roofs? We can't talk about building without talking about roofs. One common issue appears when building L-shaped roofs. Ideally, they should bend smoothly at the corner, like here. But for some reason, many players struggle with this with the other roof types. For the horizontal 2x1 roof, you'll need 2 blocks of spacing for it to work properly. If placement still feels tricky, press R to visualize the orientation and cycle through until it fits. There are also many roof variants and combinations beyond the basic shapes. Here are some examples of what you can do with roofs to give your building a unique shape. You can create small windows or balconies for a cozy fantasy look, add overhangs, or mix materials at the roof edges to break up the design. At this point now, our house looks pretty solid, but it is still not finished. To make it feel more realistic, enhance your basic doors and windows by attaching trapdoors or shelves. This adds life and visual interest. The same applies to walls. Just add some decorational support with beams or ropes. For interiors, try building custom kitchens, fences, or furniture using blocks not originally intended for that purpose, so it actually feels like someone's living in there. A great tip is to look at real-life buildings for inspiration and adapt those elements into your builds. You may have seen that we use some uncraftable decoration items, such as counters or benches. You can find these items in NPC villages or enemy camps. Just destroy them and they'll drop as items. Actually, there are many unique and great looking decorations out there that can really elevate your builds. Our final tip is about using light sources in creative ways. Of course, the primary purpose is illuminating your base and surroundings, but they can do so much more. Therefore, here are some decorational ideas. You can hide your light sources under floors or embed them into walls. Also, they work especially well as visual effects for things like chimneys or kitchen stoves to give them that subtle ambient lighting. Alright, that's it! We hope these building advices were helpful to you, and please tell us if you missed some tips. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, it helps us tremendously. And as always, thank you so much for your amazing support. We will see you in the next video. Until then, happy building!